Hello water polo fans, welcome to the lovely Ryde Aquatic Centre for today's women's third grade final, UNSW West versus Sydney Uni Lionesses. My name is Nick Watkins and I have the pleasure of being your solo commentator this morning, or this afternoon. You can tell the coffee hasn't quite kicked in, and I apologise in advance because I'm dual wielding microphones as we do a team list. Testing audio at the pool. All right, double mics. Hello everyone, welcome to the Sydney Water Polo New South Wales women's third grade gold medal match against UNSW West Killer Whales Magpies and Sydney Uni Lionesses. Please bear with me as I'm dual wielding microphones and I'll do my best for the player lineup. It's Sydney University, number 1, Sarah Macron. Number 2, Chloe Hill. Number 3, Tori Barlow. Number 5, Zoe Pollard. Number 6, Amy Whitelaw. Number 7, Alyssa Chan. Number 8, Charlotte Ferguson. Number 9, Georgia Warren. Number 10, Alexandra Fasol. Number 11, Chloe Lotz. Number 12, Jade Vish. Number 13, Lily Winter. Number 14, Sophia Carroll. And for UNSW Wests, number 1, India Troughton. Number 2, Coco Welsh. Number 3, Alaska Jury. Number 5, Mirasini Harakidas. Number 6, Katrina Benhayan. Number 7, Amelia Zuza Tito. Number 8, Estella Donnelly. Number 9, Hayley Ludgate. Number 10, Clara Stewart. Number 11, Georgina Simmons. Number 12, Millie Zederman. Number 13, Indigo Rudd. I'm going to go back to one microphone now. Thanks for your patience. And to our loyal viewers online, I'll be back with you in a couple minutes just before we get the game underway. Stay tuned. Alrighty, we're just about to get underway here for the first quarter of the women's third grade gold medal match. Sydney University Lionesses versus UNSW West's Killer Whales. And some pretty formidable coaches on both benches. Lewis Cruz for Sydney University, Daniel Trent for West as the swim up is won by Sydney University, and they will take the first opportunity at attack here. Number 7 for Sydney University, sitting up nice and strong out top, moves it to the wing, and unfortunately loses possession of the ball there and able to be turned. That was Ludgate for West, doing a good job to steal the ball, managed to get back in front, and now patiently waiting for a team to get into position. And it's a big long loopy pass into centre forward. Referee calling number 3 there for West's Alaska Drury for holding the centre back. and as a result, a turnover, University possession in counter-attack. Ball foul down there on the wing. That's Whitelaw. Trying to get the ball into centre forward, but the pass is too far away. And what looked like a little bit of a push-off, but referee saying, nothing to it, ladies, play on. A little lobby pass over the top from West, trying to find the centre forward. Alaska Drury, but didn't have eye contact. Pass went a little bit too far and easily picked off by the Lionesses. Now they're able to return the favour with their own attempt centre forward. And despite holding the centre back quite nicely behind them, referees choosing not to blow the whistle. And that was Zuza Tito for Wests, doing a good job at centre back, now going straight up the middle of the pool by herself. But hit from behind there by number 9, that's Warren. And Warren did really well. She lost the ball up at centre forward, but covered really hard. Managed to get back, knock the ball out of Tito's arms. And now University have got a break on the far side of the pool if they can look for it here. And if not, past the centre forward here will earn them an exclusion at the least. Really good position held by centre forward for Sydney University. And it was going to be an exclusion every day of the week and then some. Excellent play by Alexandra Farsol, Sydney University, earning the exclusion. Now, quick shot off the hand there. Left-handed Jade Vish. And manages to sneak it past the goalkeeper, Troughton from Wests. Unlucky for Troughton, she did manage to get an arm to it, but deflected into the top of the net. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's ugly so long as it goes in. Sydney University taking the lead 1-0. So a little bit of lack of structure here from West. They don't have anyone on the left side of the wing. It looks like they're half playing 2 centre forwards, but they've got 3 in there. So they're forced to take a big long shot from outside. And that's Lily Winter in goals, number 13 for Sydney University. Manages to get 2 hands to it and pull it down. Now forcing the counter-attack here, Sydney Uni. There is a West player stuck in back play, but managing to cover pretty quickly, but not quick enough. Number 7, Alyssa Chan. A delicate shot there, top right corner, and sometimes that's enough to catch the goalie by surprise. It looked like Troughton had come up out of the cage expecting a booming shot, and with a little bit of the pace taken off, Troughton had lost her legs, and ball goes into the back of the net. Just waiting for Sydney University to get an extra player on the field. A few too many have gone to the sideline. And the Lionesses are up 2-0 currently. Ball played out top. That's Simmons with the ball currently. Waiting for that centre forward. And really good job there by Barlow from Sydney University, fronting the centre forward. But the ball still manages to get in. Jury gets an ordinary foul, was hoping for something else, but quick little flick pass to her teammate. Ziedemann, she had a bit of space. It was a tough angle for the right-hander. If you're new to the sport or you haven't been paying attention to your coach, sometimes it's a tough ask of the right-hander on the right wing. You don't have the best angles. Similarly for the left-handers on the left-hand side. And got Sydney Uni able to come up with the ball there. They do get a nice pass in to centre forward, but number 8 Ferguson unable to turn, and a relatively easy save there for Troughton. However, undoes her good work. A slightly wayward pass and intercepted by the Lionesses. We've got plenty of time and space in front of the goals now. This is Pollard. Pollard sits up nice and strong, but the goalie's best friend, the crossbar, comes into play. And the bounce of the ball goes in favour of the Killer Whales. And ball out top at the moment now. That's Zuza Tito. She's been busy already in this first quarter, despite her team not being on the board. And looks like she's trying to do a bit of a turnaround out top, but the ball stuck up cross side with Simmons. Looking for the centre forward, but the centre forward's facing on the other side of the pool. So Simmons is forced to throw an optimistic pass over the top, and she absolutely nails it. A good drive there by Mirasini. And she earns a kick out, and her teammates very grateful for that and able to convert. So Harakitis, excellent drive. It was a 50-50 pass over the top, but it came off in favour of the Killer Whales. Harakitis earned the exclusion and converted. Something to note for both teams currently is just being aware of which way their centre forwards are facing. And they both look like relatively young teams that are playing at the moment, so good opportunity for them to learn an important lesson. Sometimes it's not about moving the ball where it's easiest, but where it's going to be most beneficial. So if the centre forwards are facing the left-hand side of the pool, you don't want to get suckered into throwing it to the right. And in this instance, Sydney University able to drive, get a good pass in, and a quick little pop pass over there. That's number 10 for Sydney University, Alexandra Faisal. And a nice little quick play from the Lionesses. Something you don't see too often from younger, possibly inexperienced teams. They typically go back to the foundations, try and get the structure right and play out the full attack, but they saw the opportunity there, moved the ball quickly, and were able to convert. And that's Zuza Tito sitting up nice and strong from outside. She picked it up, balked once, passed it back to the top, and then most importantly slid to the left and offset. That meant that her defender was slightly out of position, and she'd be able to take an extra metre closer to the goals. And a strong bounce shot. Looked like it went straight over the goalkeeper's head. Tasty little donut. And brings us back to within one goal. Sydney Uni Lionesses 3, UNSW West Killer Whales 2. So a really wide mushroom for the Lionesses here. They've got 3 players on the 3 metre line, and the rest of them are close back to halfway. The Lionesses trying to force the ball into 14. I'll have to come back to you about the name there. It's not matching my scorecard. Nonetheless, the pass goes a little bit too far, and Troughton able to pick it up. Ball out top with Simmons. Simmons has to move it around. This is Ludgate. Ludgate pressed quite well there. That's number 12, Vish. And the West players are a long way out now, so they're forced to take a crossbody lob, and a good piece of defence from Sydney University. It's not the best angle for a right-hander, being on the right-hand side of the pool, and that far out, you really have to be quite lucky or quite skilled to convert. So good piece of defence, and now Sydney University up in attack. They have 2 centre forwards here, trying to create a lot of space. And the ball comes into the 3-post centre forward. That's number 8 for Sydney University. Ferguson earning the exclusion. She did well there. Number 11 for UNSW West, Georgia Simmons, going to the naughty corner for a quick breather. And University moving the ball around in extra attack. Top 2 players for University haven't offset so far. The ball movement's been okay, but the defence hasn't had to shift too much. For our loyal listeners and viewers at home, the key to their player up, the 6-on-5 attack, is to make the defence move. The way you make them move is you move the ball. But the top 2 players for University not shifting there, staying perfectly in line with the posts, makes the job a lot easier for the defenders. Coco Welsh trying to force the ball into centre forward there, but was well fronted and picked the ball off like a dirty nose. And now Coco Welsh sent to the sin bin for a quick 18 seconds. And that's a tough one for the young player. Ball intercepted at the other end and then excluded in the transition. A lovely wraparound shot there, Jade Vish. If the surname's anything to go by, she's probably got a bit of pedigree in her, and very nice, composed left-hander. Did well to wrap around from the wing, opening up the angles. So the further out from the goal line you are, the better angle you have at shooting. Very similar to soccer or football. And Vish able to open up and convert for a team. Scoreboard has it Sydney Uni 4, West 2. I think it might actually be behind 1, but I'll come back to you at quarter time. There's only 40 seconds left in this first quarter, and this is Welsh sitting outside. It's Lily Winter managing to get a fingertip to it, sends it over the back of the goal line, so it'll be West's corner. They've got 18 seconds left. To be honest, World Aquatics change the rules every 3 weeks. I can't remember how long of a shot clock they have. But West driving out the zone defence at the moment, trying to bring on a new centre forward. They've done well to get a second one in. They play Welsh. Welsh reaching for the ball. Manages to get a soft backhand away, but she was pushed a long way outside of the cage. And that was a nice piece of defence there by Chloe Lotz from Sydney University, number 11. As Winter throws the ball up right-hand side of the pool. This is number 9, Georgia Warren at centre forward. Manages to turn number 10 for West. That's Clara Stewart. And Warren earning a 5 metre. Sending Zoe Pollard up to take the shot. And we'll see what Troughton can do in the cage. She was unlucky to start with, was Pollard. I think it was a fingertip there from Troughton, so she did well to get a hand up. But then cross cage came into play, straight back to Pollard. Pollard said, "Oh, I'm not missing this second chance. Thank you very much." And with that, 7 seconds left on the clock. Sydney University lead stretches back out to 3 goals. And West's forcing the shot, still 4 seconds left. Shoot is the call. It's a big ask for the young goalkeeper in the cage, and she'll just wind it down. No point throwing a shoulder, especially in the gold medal match. It was a good start by the Lionesses. They're playing really nicely in defence, which is opening up a lot of opportunity for their team in attack. And it's starting primarily with that centre back, doing a good job to front mark the West centre forward. And as a result, the West women trying to drive out and get a second centre forward in there. They're doing a reasonable job, fair bit of movement, and people are coming on, but the ball seems to be getting stuck around the perimeter. And that's a critical piece of defence. The slower you can make the ball move, the more time your defence has to adjust. The slower the ball moves around the perimeter, the less your goalie has to jump. So, critical piece of play here, and it's paying dividends for Sydney University, who are up 5 goals to 2, coming into the second quarter. And I'll check back in with our loyal fans as we get underway for the second quarter of the match. Welcome back to Ryde Aquatic Centre on what is a relatively hot and muggy day in Sydney. So, despite being a saltwater specialist and much preferring to play at Dawn Fraser or Gunnamatta, it's quite pleasant sitting inside as we're about to start the second quarter for women's third grade gold medal match between Sydney Uni Lionesses and UNSW West Killer Whales. It was a strong start by the Lionesses, reflected by the scoreboard. They're up 3 goals. And it's primarily been thanks to their defence. They're doing an excellent job with centre back. West's unable to get the ball into their centre forward and getting caught a little bit around the perimeter, which is opening up a lot of counter-attacks for the Lionesses. And it'll be something that West coach, former Sydney University coach, Daniel Trent, will be having a chat to about with his young women. And we're starting to see the Killer Whales returning the favour. That's number 12 at centre back for West's Zederman, doing a great job at front marking, and equally met by Amelie Zuzatito. She's been everywhere, that young lady. Pretty impressed. Very zippy fast player, dangerous shooter from outside, and obviously a capable defender too. So keep an eye out on number 7 for Wests to be impact player today. Another example of West trying to play a second centre forward rolling in. So what that means is you have a centre forward to start with. They're muscled out of position and you drive someone in to replace them with the original centre forward kicking to the wing. And it's worked. They've earned an exclusion. Number 7, Alyssa Chan, sent to the red box. And UNSW West have only 8 seconds left, so they're a little bit slow getting into position. And Zuza Tito maybe being a little bit too reliant, thinking she had to make something happen. She did have number 12 on her team. Ziedemann wrapping around from the 1 position on the wing. Looked like she might have been a better option. But good heads-up play. She was looking at her coach, getting some advice during swimming, while swimming back. So University throws a big lobby pass opening up. There's plenty of space for the centre forward if they can get in. This is almost definitely going to be an exclusion if they can turn it. But unfortunately, holding onto the ball a little bit too long, and referees choosing to reward the defender. Number 12, Ziedemann. It's a tough call. Typically, the interpretation of the rules is if the centre back's caught behind and the ball comes in, it's almost always going to be an exclusion. As you've just seen there, number 6 for Sydney University, that's Amy Whitelaw getting stuck behind, hands down, and earns one of her 3 exclusions for the game as a result. So you saw it at one end but not at the other. Slightly different interpretation and way of seeing things. As Zuza Tito tries to do a bit of a delicate shot, top right corner, sends it wide, and it's an easy ask for Lily Winter in goals. And I wonder if maybe Zuza Tito's getting a little bit frustrated, thinking she's got to do it all herself. But that all stems from a lack of structure. The ball comes in the centre forward. This is Faisal sitting quite strongly, but good crash back there by Tito managing to front centre forward now, so there's nothing happening for the Lionesses. Only 2 seconds left. We'll assume this will be a shot. It is! And it's a goal. Zoe Pollard managing to put a little bit of an arc on that. And that's the second time we've seen Troughton come up expecting a bit of a boomer and losing her legs a little bit as the more delicate shot finds the back of the cage. Sydney University stretching their lead out to 4, 6 goals to 2. Critical for West is going to be structure and using the full attack here. Sydney University's counter-attack is working quite well. And you can see here at centre forward, they're doing a relatively good job at winding down the clock. That's 15 seconds of the shot clock gone already. But good patience from the West Killer Whales. That was Simmons out top, just waiting for Zuza Tito to slide in and then slide left. That's the second time she scored a goal like that. As the Lionesses' defence is dropping back slightly to help the centre forward, it opens up a lot of space for that outside shooter. And something that Zuza Tito has been doing quite well is not just moving in, but moving sideways slightly. It opens up a nice big channel to shoot down. And it's a really big ask of the goalkeeper. This ball finds a way to centre forward, but an offensive called. You can see number 8 there for Sydney University, Ferguson, clearly hooking the player behind her. And now she's been excluded. She obviously didn't hear the whistle and tried to play on. And we've just had another exclusion for Sydney University. I believe that's number 9. So UNSW West up 2 players now. They'll be playing 6 on 4. You usually see more experienced teams dropping this down to a 5 on 4. It changes the way the defence have to play and creates a little bit more space for the shooters. And as you can see there, even though Wests were 2 women up, they had a wall of defenders, did Sydney Uni, and shot straight at the goalkeeper. A relatively easy ask for Winter in goals. So it is 6-3. Scoreboard's just been adjusted here at the pool. Apologies if you're watching at home and the graphic overlay is slightly different. Ryde Aquatic Centre hasn't gifted us with any Wi-Fi, so we don't have a live stream here to see what you can all see at home. But another really good piece of defence there by UNSW. And a lobby shot over the top by Simmons. Unfortunately finds the goalie's best friend, the crossbar. And the bounce for Winter is fortuitous. And that's a bit of a wasted opportunity there. And unfortunately for the Killer Whales, a quick exclusion at the other end. Coach Trent will be slightly frustrated with that on the bench. It could have been a 2-goal deficit, and now we run the risk of going Sydney Uni up 4, but a fantastic save by Troughton in goals. Pulls it down, quick shot off the far wing, and the scoreboard remains the same. See a little bit of breakdown in structure here from UNSW West as Zuza Tito tries to swing it up the middle, but without the structure, it makes it hard for that second line of attackers coming through. What you'd like to see from your young players is the setup of the mushroom or the umbrella. So you've got your centre forward in the middle on the 2 wings also on the 2, if not in closer. And that means your top players can come in closer to the goals, be more of a threat. But if you don't have your first 3 players on the baseline on that 2 metres, then everyone else has to push out. And we saw there for Wests, most of the attackers being caught on 8, 9, 10 metres. Nice piece of defence there by the Killer Whales. They managed to wind down the clock and force number 11 for Sydney University, Lots, to dump the ball. Now they've managed to get it up with a fair bit of time. There's 22 seconds left. Centre forward is holding a good side, but it needs to move around the perimeter. Zuza Tito telling me that she doesn't need to move it around the perimeter. Gets a nice pass into the centre forward. The number 5, Sydney University, Zoe Pollard, sent to the bin, being a little bit too grabby and caught behind. And West now trying to bring on Zuza Tito for another shot. That's a brilliant goal. Bounce, close corner. And it all started from the top of the Killer Whales attack offsetting. We spoke about that slightly in the first quarter. When you're a player up, you really want to make sure you move the defenders, and the way you do that is you move the ball. And if the top players are able to offset slightly, it lets that wing player come around like we just saw and opens up that shooting lane. Tough ask of Winters in goals. Definitely not her responsibility to save that down the line. And Zuza Tito scoring her 3rd for the match. It looked like a nice pass from Pollard over the top to Chan, but referees saw something, possibly a pull pass or a bit of a grab, so they call the offensive, and now it's Killer Whales ball as a lofty cross pass comes over the top. And that's a 5-metre earned by number 8, Stella Donnelly. Doing a good job to drive hard in towards the goals there and hit a little bit too hard. And a little bit too hard from behind. Got Georgia Simmons stepping up against Lily Winters. Winters comes up, she chooses the side early. And Simmons, long arms and legs, takes her time getting out of the water, sees the goalie going right, to the goalie's right, to her left, and chooses the open side, and we're back within 2. It's Chan playing to herself. Presses the call, the centre back is stuck behind, there's plenty of room and space, but an excellent piece of defence, Georgia Simmons. So goal scorer becomes key playmaker in defence. The ball up to Zuza Tito. He switches it across the other side of the pool. They've got 3 centre forwards in and they've had to clear it out. They managed to get the ball over the top to Welsh. Welsh earning an exclusion. Number 14 for Sydney University. And ball back out to Zuza Tito. They started in a 3-3, so 3 on the baseline, 3 up top, and they sent the driver in. It's a big crossbar. And a pretty heavy foul against Zuza Tito now. She can find a Stella Donnelly on the wing. It'll be a goal. Chooses the other wing. And that was Mirasini Harakidis. Good left-hander. Slotting it down the line there. As we mentioned before, a big ask of the goalkeeper. When you play it down, trying to cover those wing lines, you're really reliant on your defenders. But good movement, good shot, good goal. And it's 6 apiece with 25 seconds to go in this first half of the women's third grade gold medal match. Ball manages to get in. Another good turn, but well saved. Georgia Simmons is playing quite well at centre back. She's choosing to sit behind, but she's got long arms and she's muscling out the centre forward, giving her goalkeeper a bit of space. Zuzatito turning into two Lionesses. There's 4 seconds left. You'll assume she'll take this one. A gentle cross-cage lob, but Winter able to pull that one down. And the clock will sound. Very exciting quarter there. It looked like Sydney University were about to run away with it. They had a 4-goal lead at one point. But the Killer Whales staying calm and composed and managing to claw it back bit by bit, finishing that half at 6 apiece. We've seen both teams getting caught behind at both centre back and perimeter players getting driven on, which has resulted in a few exclusions. And so far, or at least in that quarter, UNSW West's extra attack is looking quite formidable. They're offsetting and moving the ball quite well. We've got a few dangerous shooters out top. Sydney University certainly look like they've been in control for most of the game, and West being able to claw it back there happened slowly and a little bit deceivingly. Seeing a little bit of fatigue set in and maybe a bit of inexperience as both teams forcing some passes and shots. West were rewarded a number of times there with a 50-50 pass into centre forward, making it, when what you would probably like to see if your coach Trent is moving the ball around the perimeter 1 or 2 extra positions. What that means is your centre forward might be facing the left-hand wing, and rather than trying to force it over the top or around the arm of the centre back from a bad position, you want to really try and move the ball to the left-hand wing, so when they throw it in, it's a nice clean pass with no defender. Hasn't necessarily been required in that quarter, with the bounce of the ball coming out in favour of West's. 6 apiece. We'll be back in touch just before we start the second half. Welcome back, water polo fans, for the second half of this women's third grade gold medal match between the Sydney University Lionesses and UNSW West's Killer Whales. My name is Nick Watkins. I'm your sole commentator today. My partner in crime, Lulu Gaither, playing her own match in the Sydney Super League semi-finals today. And I do apologise in advance if you're just joining us. My toddler generously brought home a collection of daycare germs last week, and I'm still fighting off a bit of a nasally cold. So you can either enjoy my Kermit the Frog impersonation for another half of water polo, or hit the mute button and watch it in silence with your favourite podcast on. Sydney Uni looked to be dominating most of the match in the first half, but UNSW West clawing back a 4-goal deficit, closing out the half at 6 apiece. And it'll be interesting to see which way the pendulum swings in this second half. Killer Whales been playing primarily a press defence, with their centre-back sitting behind, and they have been relying on Simmons with the big long arms to knock the ball out, but that's a really perfect example there with Ziedemann being sent to the naughty corner. New interpretation of the rules from World Aquatics pretty much says if the centre-back's directly behind the centre-forward and the ball comes in, they're probably going to be sent out. And the result is a player-up attack converted by number 5 Zoe Pollard for the Lionesses. It was something I was keeping an eye on in that second quarter. And as I mentioned, Simmons, number 11 for West, was doing a great job at defending centre-back from behind. It sometimes works when you've got a long centre-back with a good reach who can maybe intercept the ball. But for the most part, it's going to end in an exclusion. And you can see here Sydney University doing a really good job fronting. That's Alaska Drury playing centre back. And despite being sent out, it was only because it was a lucky pass that came through. Drury will be slightly disappointed there. She did a really good job fronting and would be reliant on her teammates around the perimeter to ensure that the ball can't come over the top. And a few jeers and cheers from the crowd as both teams getting excited. A little bit of argy-bargy in front of the cage after a rebound, but referees call that it's Lioness's ball, and there's a nice clear break in the middle of the goal here. But unfortunately, ball to the hand rather than on the water. And Whitelaw couldn't rein it in, getting a fortunate bounce straight into the hands of Troughton, the goalkeeper for Killer Whales. So no damage done. Killer Whales back up in attack. It's almost an exact replica play of what we saw at the other end, with the ball trying to come in there from Parakitis, trying to find her centre forward, Drury, but hits Drury's hand on the full, and everyone's favourite Irishman, Rick O'Shea, bounces into the goals. Sydney University with another opportunity, front water here, good cross pass. That's a goal by Stella Donnelly, but most importantly the pass by Alyssa Chan. Really good, mature play call there from the young team. You'd expect most young players and quite a few veterans to choose to shoot that. I think I attributed that to Stella Donnelly, number 8, but it doesn't look like Stella. Oh, she's for West, apologies, I've got the names mixed up. That was Charlotte Ferguson. There's technical difficulties with my iPhone 1 that I'm trying to read the scorecard off. Sydney University back in the lead by 2 goals now. And a fair bit of space in at centre forward, but again, nicely turned by centre back, but it doesn't matter. With Zuza Tito sitting up from about 9 metres and throwing a beautiful goal in past Macron. Top right corner. It brings it back to a 1-goal deficit for the Killer Whales. And we called that early in the first half. Zuza Tito looks like the main threat for the Killer Whales. The Lionesses will be wanting to give her a bit more pressure. Can't give her that much space from out top. It's her 4th or 5th goal of the game so far. There's plenty of space in at the centre forward again for the Lionesses. They are driving, with West sending a cherry picker the other end. So they'll need to be pretty quick here to cover back. But Troughton shaking ahead, not comfortable throwing over the top of 3 Lionesses, and that's good, mature play there. No point rushing it if it's not on. As Indigo Rudd sits up from outside, has a shot, pushes it wide of the cage. And Macron moves the ball up to her right wing. Sydney University failing to get anyone up to the 2-metre line on that right wing, so the ball's been stuck at halfway, and that's eaten 22 seconds off the clock. The ball's now stuck down the right wing. Jade Vish, she's a talented player, but she'll struggle to score from down there, and tries to move it back out top to Pollard, but Pollard holding her player. And I believe that was Coco Welsh having a bit of a smile. Obviously knew she got away with something there. And with the little 1-2 beautiful pop over the top, Parakitis is able to put that one in the back of the net. And I think that'll take us to 8-all now, just waiting for the scoreboard to update on pool deck. It just goes to show it doesn't take much for the momentum to shift in this game. What looked like potential opportunity for the Lionesses up the other end. Quick turnover, counter-attack, a couple of nice passes, and an easy goal. Sydney University centre forward, number 10, this is Faisal, holding a really good position here. But referee seeing maybe an offensive holding turnover. So Faisal's called for holding her centre-back defender, and an offensive is given, which means that West are now able to swim up and attack. Parakitis, big long ball over the top. Tito. There's a fair bit of space in at centre forward if she can get it in. She does. And it's a very strong turn. Excellent play there. That's Ben Hayen for West. Probably one of the best plays that we've seen from West so far. They've managed to wind the clock down, being patient. Ball back out top to their dangerous shooter. So the Lioness is forced to commit a little bit. She gets the ball into Katrina Ben Hayen, who does an excellent job turning. And now it'll be Georgina Simmons steps up for the shot against Sarah Macron in goals. Sarah Macron being a little bit cheeky, sneaking out of a cage too early. She came up quickly, did Macron, but Simmons' big long arms took her time to come up and stretch. And the Sydney University goalie losing her legs slightly there. It's always a tough one as a goalkeeper. You've got a few options. You pick a side, you come up slowly, you come up fast, or you try and match the shooter. And when the shooter's taller, has bigger wingspan, it means that they can take longer to shoot, often seeing the goalkeeper lose their legs and making it a bit easier. There's only 6 seconds left on the shot clock, which is a bit confusing. We're only just restarted, so here we go. They've just restarted that. So 15 seconds to go for the Lionesses. Ball manages to get into centre forward. But great job crash back there by Ben Hayen. That's 2 critical plays from Katrina Ben Hayen. She did a great job turning at centre forward, and then an excellent job crashing back and helping her centre in defence. She moves the ball back out top. This is Stella Donnelly. Passes back to Ben Hayen. Centre forward muscled out quite well here, so long way out, 4 or 5 metres. Tries to throw a backhand, catches the water, unable to get it away. So Tori Barlow now with the ball. Fouled, looking for a few releases. Bit of fatigue setting in for both teams now. You're seeing the counter-attack structure break down. People not releasing for the ball, which means it's slower to get up in attack. Sydney University lost half of their shot clock already. They haven't gone past halfway. They might not need it. They get the ball in centre forward. A big strong hold, turn, and goal. Georgia Warren there did really well. She was holding strong position, got the ball in, turned, fought, and it might have been slightly deflected, and it definitely came in off the cage. But Warren scores. And now subs coming in for both teams. 2 minutes 20 to go. The third quarter here at Ryde Aquatic Centre, the gold medal match of women's third grade for the Water Polo New South Wales competition. And that was a very lucky skim pass in from Harakitis to her centre forward, Donnelly. He was lucky to get past 2 defenders. City Uni had fronted quite nicely. But despite the ball getting in, referees not willing to reward the attacking play. And we've seen something very similar at the other end with the Lionesses, called an offensive. So this has happened a few times for the Lionesses, being called for holding the centre back. It does happen a lot more in the women's game than in the men's game. More togs, more to holds. And yet another steal from centre forward by the Lionesses. So back to back swimming. And you can see a few of the young ladies huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf. And you'd anticipate that if they're able to score here, there'll be a number of subs for both teams. As the ball came over the top to Barlow, she picked it up, bobbled it, but hit from behind there, and 5 metre awarded. I believe that one was going against Ben Hayen. So despite a little bit of butterfingers, front water bobble, hit from behind, means that Alyssa Chan will step up to the plate, look to convert this penalty, and she does. And as expected, a number of substitutes being called by the West Killer Whales. There was a lot of swimming there, a fair bit of a gap between goals, so getting some fresh legs on to close out this quarter is deemed critical by Coach Trent. Sydney University in the lead, 10 goals to 9. They were up by 4 earlier in the game, so it's been a good fight by the Killer Whales to come back as the ball moves across the face of the goals. That's Tito. She's been a dangerous threat all day. Manages to get the pass over the top to her centre forward, who unfortunately for her rolls into the centre back, but still manages to earn that exclusion. Tori Barlow sent to the box. And UNSW West will be a player up for the next 18 seconds. They have to move the ball though. They just lost 8 seconds holding it on the wing, trying to play the post ball here, and a 5 metre awarded. That's Clara Stewart there earning the 5 metre. It was a very interesting call. It was a player up advantage, and Millie Zederman played the post, who was already marked by one player. But it's paid off. Clara Stewart, I believe, turning, earning the 5 metre, and Simmons back for yet another shot. Long arms, you'd expect her to wind up again. She does, and manages it to bounce it over the hand of Macron, which will take us to 10 all. There's a minute to go in the third quarter, getting very exciting, and quite a few parents and friends on the edge of the seat here at Ryde Aquatic Centre for what is shaping up to be a very fun and very tense fourth quarter of the gold medal match today. Big long cross pass over the top to Chan. Centre forward's well marked here. That's Clara Stewart, centre back for West, and she's holding front water quite well, but an effective drive out top by Sydney University. That was Georgia Warren earning the exclusion. Number 3, Alaska Drury, sent to the bin. Chan with the ball, bobbles it. And she's been called for 2 hands. You don't see that very often in this league, but lost control of the ball. It's the third player that's struggled to get a grip. Maybe a little bit of sunblock creeping in, even though we are indoors and it's thunderstorming outside. But butterfingers it is. 2 hands it's called. And UNSW West will get 18 seconds to go in the third quarter to see if they can take the lead for the first time. Sousa Tito tries to turn. She's a long way out, and there's a Sydney University Lioness going, so she sits on the ball a little bit, slows it down. Caught a little bit there. Panics, lost control of the ball. Lionesses have the counter-attack, but it's good chase from the Killer Whales. With a lovely cross-cage lob. And number 9 for Sydney University, Georgia Warren. That's as good as you can get. It's a really tough position for a right-hander to shoot from there, and it's even harder to throw a lob. The biomechanics, physics, and geometry just don't work in the attacker's favour. And with that, we have 0.7 seconds on the shot clock. We'll assume that this will just run out. The referees will blow the whistle and end it. And Sydney University will go into fourth quarter with a 1-goal lead. So that goal at the end there manages to put the Lionesses back in front. And it's been a very exciting second and third quarter after what looked like was potentially going to be a bit of a blowout early on. Sydney University had a 4-goal lead. But Coach Trent able to get his young ladies composed, thinking about their play. And we're starting to see a number of players step up across the team sheet. A little bit reliant on a few key figures early on. But we started to see there Ben Hayen, Sousa Tito especially, Simmons stepping up for a number of penalties, all contributing. And as fatigue setting in, quite a few exclusions happening and penalty shots awarded. Defenders getting a little bit tired, which means their legs drop, which means their hands drop. And as a result, the referees encouraged or forced to reward attackers. And a number of exclusions starting to creep in to the scorecard. Sydney Uni raring to go. Coach Lewis Cruz, big gentle giant, man of few words, obviously has a lot of faith in his young ladies. They know what they're doing, so he sent them in ready. Coach Trent taking a little bit longer to get his girls composed. And we'll be back underway in just under 30 seconds for the fourth and final quarter of this gold medal match, women's third grade. Welcome back, water polo fans. This is the start of the fourth quarter of the women's gold medal match, Sydney Uni Lionesses versus UNSW West Killer Whales. Lionesses are up by 1 goal at the moment and they win the swim-off. But it hasn't been smooth sailing. They did lose a 4-goal lead in the second quarter. UNSW West managing to fight back. And both teams starting to struggle a little bit from a lack of structure. That'll be no doubt one of the key focal points for the coaching staff on both teams. That was an example of a forced pass into the centre forward. A little bit of a lucky bounce. Had one of the West players sent to the corner. And a quick pass back out to Chan. Chan shoots off the hand. Doesn't worry about setting up the 6-on-5. Backing herself to score that from about 5 metres directly in front. It was unlucky for West there. That ball really shouldn't have come in. It was a pretty good example of forcing the pass from the wrong angle. Not too dissimilar to that pass there. Both teams being relying on a lofty pass over the top. What you really want to be seeing your players do is look to move it around the perimeter to open up the angles so that you're not throwing over the top of a defender. But both teams getting away with a couple of those rainbow passes in. But that time not working for West as the ball comes in the centre forward. Number 9 for Sydney University, a really good job sitting up strong, Georgia Warren. She's scored a few today and a couple like that as well. Holding really well front water, grabbing the ball, turning, getting space and separation from her centre back and putting it up softly cross cage. Lionesses in lead, 13 goals to 10. West Killer Whales will be getting nervous, but not entirely panicky just yet. They have clawed back a 4-goal deficit already once this game, but it's going to take a fair bit of ask. And we've got an exclusion from the perimeter. That's number 12, Sydney University, Jade Vish, not giving enough space to the fouled attacker, which is unfortunate because the centre-back had done a good job to get around and steal the ball as it came in. So ball wrapping around. They've got Zuza Tito out top. She's been dangerous. Simmons, she scored a couple as well. But they're losing the structure. 3 seconds left. They're forced to shoot from the worst angle possible. But the refund is good. Harakidis, left-hander, throws it cross cage, hits the crossbar, hits the far post, and stays on the line. Sydney University fans getting very excited by that. The ball does have to cross the plane of the goal line completely. There's even a smidge that hasn't crossed, it's no goal, and referees determining that it hadn't broken the plane that time as the ball gets in centre forward. Big strong kick-off and a lovely goal there by Jade Vish, the left-hander. And this is where the Killer Whales' choice to play centre back directly behind and press the perimeter is starting to unravel slightly. You can see the Lionesses in defence. Their centre-back's doing a great job at getting around or at least closing off some of the angles for the centre-forward. West getting caught directly behind means the ball comes in. There's a lot more opportunity for the centre-forward. So an exclusion on number 10 here. That's another perimeter ejection. Number 10, Sydney University, Alexandra Faisal. And she was called for grabbing one of the drivers around the perimeters. It's a real coach killer, that. You need to be defending with your bum on the surface of the water, channeling the driver away from the ball, essentially encouraging them to go in the easy direction. A lot of players will try and take that easy option, both in terms of driving and passing. So as a defender, you want to open up a bit of a line away from the ball, encourage them to swim that way. But if they do manage to drive ball side, like we saw there, make sure you just roll and swim with them. As soon as your hands are down, referees are going to exclude you every day of the week. So the trick there is roll on your back, get your hands up, and trust your teammates to help you out if necessary. This will be a critical timeout for Coach Trent. His players are down by 4 goals. They've clawed it back already in this game, but you would think if they don't convert this one, it'd be a pretty big ask for the rest of the quarter. So it'll be interesting to see if he's cooked up a special attack here or if it's just resetting some expectations about something they've been doing all season. As the ball comes back out to Troughton to start this attack. The ball's out top with Coco Welsh. They're playing a 3-on-3 here at the moment with a quick drive. And Zuza Tito, fantastic conversion there. So a typical extra attack is 4 on the baseline, 2 out top. Killer Whales elected to start with a 3-3 with Zuza Tito driving in. She got the ball and then was hit from behind, which she wasn't expecting, but didn't panic, stayed calm. Put the ball in the water, moved in a little bit closer, and as the defender put up their hands to show no foul, Zuza Tito able to sit up and score her 5th or 6th of the game. Handy player. Ball comes into centre forward, but this is a good job by number 5, Parakitis for Wests. Still caught behind. As a coach, I wouldn't be too comfortable with the position, but it's paid off there. Parakitis able to get her arms around and intercept that pass before it came in. So West able to push up in attack now. They've got Zuza Tito facing up centre forward with Drury on the far side, but the ball is stuck out top with Coco Welsh. There's no real angle for it to get it in. Number 3, Tori Barlow at Sydney Uni centre back, doing a great job fronting Alaska Drury, and an offensive being called against UNSW. So the Lionesses, another opportunity to attack. They have a big long break here if they can get the pass across. But Zuza Tito, good heads up play, nice awareness, manages to pick her pocket. And if she can get a nice safe pass up here, the 5 metre is awarded. So Alaska Drury steaming down the middle of the field. She did have front water. New interpretation of the rules from World Aquatics says the referees can play on in favour of the attacker, but if they signal a 5 metre with their hand, not with the whistle, they can call it back and award the penalty shot, which is what has happened here, and Simmons will step up. She's already scored 2 or 3 from penalty shots today. And she does the same once again. Changing sides, Macron went right. That's where Simmons' last 3 shots have gone, and Simmons keeps her on her toes by throwing it the opposite direction. And now Sydney University's called a timeout. Lewis Cruz getting his young Lionesses over to the sideline. And it's good awareness from the former international. We saw that the momentum had started to shift. They were in the lead by 4 goals, but the Killer Whales knocking it down by 2. So rather than sending his players back up, he's giving them a moment to compose, have a bit of a yarn, talk about the key things they need to focus on. And equally, it's given Daniel Trent for the Killer Whales the opportunity to rally up his girls. This game's going to be made or break by what happens at centre forward, centre back when Sydney Uni are attacking. West are choosing to play a mostly press around the perimeter with the centre back sitting directly behind. Lionesses getting the ball in early like you can see here, but Coco Welsh showing no foul with her arms up, waiting for her players to crash back, and that's really a nice piece of defence there. A little bit slow off the mark, you can see Welsh screaming for a bit of help, but she showed no foul. Number 8, Ferguson for Sydney University, stepping for the ball, trying to milk the kick out, and the crash back defence by West pays off. And now they've got nice space at centre forward themselves. But in almost an exact replica of what happened at the other end, no foul shown, 2 hands up, and the crash back works for the Lionesses. They're calling a flying sub on the side of the pool as Chan comes out for Barlow, which means that they're going to lose a fair few seconds off the clock. But we've seen that Sydney Uni are able to sneak that ball in pretty effectively, even with a few seconds left. As the ball comes back out top to Pollard. Clock's running down, you expect Pollard to shoot this, she does. Yet another crossbar save and a fortuitous rebound gathered by Simmons for West. And fouled quite heavily on the far side is Chloe Hill for West, but she manages to get the ball in. But Zuza Tito Scoring once again, and really nice awareness there. Apologies, I think I might have said that was Chloe Hill. That was actually Coco Welsh for Wests who got the ball in. Really nice piece of awareness. Knew her player was driving, didn't rush, gentle pass over the top, and it's a pretty tough ask of Macron in goals there with one of the best, if not the best attackers, sitting on 1.5 metres. So we're back to 14-13. Only 1 goal difference. Offensive awarded against Chan there. And a transition exclusion called against number 5 for Sydney University, Zoe Pollard. So Pollard calls on her own attacking 6-metre line for holding one of the killer whales trying to push up in the pool. Another example of a coach killer. They've had a few exclusions during transition, have the Lionesses, as they set up their player up attack, 6 on 5. And that 3-3 that we saw work so effectively before. But a bit of panic, not really sure who was on or what's happening. Oh my goodness. Amelie Zuzatito, take a bow. That never deserved to go in. There was 1 second left. She was stuck on her far wing. But the Killer Whales attacking superstar manages to put a lovely arc on that, landing it perfectly on the far post. And we're back level. There's under 2 minutes to go. It's 14 all. It's the second time Killer Whales have fought down a 4-goal deficit, which means that they're more than capable of scoring. And if they can hold them out here, momentum's definitely in their favour. It's Coco Welsh playing centre back for Wests against Faisal at centre forward. Welsh choosing to mark from behind yet again, as has been the Killer Whales gameplay, and Faisal unable to turn and convert. So there's a minute 35. West looking to drive here. Donnelly, ball's thrown a little bit too short from Welsh. So it's unfortunate from Donnelly getting caught up there. She did have ball side drive, but the ball needed to get to the deep wing, and the Lionesses have got a 3-on-2 counter-attack. That's Whitelaw trying to shoot, but Troughton, an excellent job getting a fingertip, and now it's a 3-on-2 in the other way. This is Tito Zuza driving towards the goal. She's gone straight into a defender and earned the exclusion. The timeout's been called. Interesting decision there by Coach Trent. He did have 3 players up on 1 defender. The Lionesses were steamrolling back and possibly didn't want them to rush. But a quick 1-2 would have been an almost certain goal. However, there's only a minute 8 left on the clock, and they've got 18 seconds of player up attack here. So a tough situation for the coach. A minute to go. You've only got 20 seconds of 6-on-5 attack. And there's a few options. You try and score quickly, which means all things going well, University will get 1 attack and you'll get 1. Or you try and use the full 18, wind down the clock, shoot towards the end, and then that means that hopefully University don't have too much time left on the clock to push up an attack, and if they do, then at least you've got 20 seconds after that. So it'd be interesting to see what Trent calls here. Is he going to get his ladies to shoot quickly, or are they going to wind down the clock? They've favoured this 3-on-3 attack the last couple of times when they've been player up, which means 3 people starting out top, 3 on the post, and then 1 driving through. They're going to replicate it again, and you can probably assume that Zuzatito or Simmons will be the ones that they're looking for here. They're sitting off Welsh currently. Welsh walking in, she's on 5 metres, plenty of space. She's very happy, big smile to her coach. The Lioness is focusing quite heavily on Simmons and Zuzatito. They've been the main goal scorers for West, and just plenty of space for Coco Welsh. It's fine to focus on the main goal scorers, but you can't let them balk in that far. So with a minute to go, Killer Whales stepping into the lead for one of the very few times this. And the Killer Whales bench quite animated, gesturing to the table. So they're going to run the clock down a little bit. The referee just figuring out if they're going to restart after that goal, go back to a full minute on the clock, or if they just run it down and reset in front of goals. Looks as though they're going to restart on halfway with a minute to go, so it'll be Lionesses' ball. They are down by 1, so they need to score, but they can't afford to give the Killer Whales too much time for their own attack. And good pressure there from Zuza Tito. She was unlucky not to steal it there. They're playing a full press, but lots of space for the centre forwards at Sydney University. That's going to be an exclusion against Stella Donnelly, and a timeout's called by the Sydney University bench. I think that was earned by number 12 for Sydney University, Jade Vish. She's been quite handy as that second centre forward a few times today, the left-hander, driving into the post. And you can see there with West choosing to press, but there was a lot of space for the centre. All they needed to do was get the ball in, and centre-back sitting directly behind, almost always going to be sent to the exclusion box in that situation. I probably would have called things slightly differently. You're up by 1, there's a minute to go. Probably would have zoned a little bit, encouraged that shot from outside, and then known if we pull it down, or even if they score, you've got a full 30. But giving them the exclusion means that the Lionesses are able to eat more off the clock. They're going to have 18 seconds, 6-on-5 attack. There's only 48 seconds left on the clock. So it's still plenty of time for Killer Whales if the Lionesses do score. But what you don't want to see is a rebound. It gives the Lionesses the opportunity to really run the entire quarter clock down. Our previous match here was the 5th grade playoff for Sydney Super League. It was University of Queensland versus Singaporean men's team, and we went to penalty shootout. It might be the second penalty shootout of the game, as the ball moves out top to Warren. Warren passes it across to Barlow. Barlow deep wing, Vish, back to Barlow. Back to Vish. They're pressing Vish quite hard. She's a long way out there, so it's a cross pass all the way through to number 6, Whitelaw, but Whitelaw is fouled. Good scramble defence from West there. Whitelaw sits up. And despite Troughton managing to get a hand to it, it hits the water and the momentum manages to flow in. And back to even Stevens, 15 apiece. There's 32.2 seconds left on the clock. So the full attack is the call from the Killer Whales bench. The crowd is really getting into it now. And if they can wind the clock down and get a shot away late in the piece, then they'll be looking quite good with the West Killer Whales. But an excellent steal there by Ferguson. No, apologies, that's number 6, that's Whitelaw. And with 20 seconds to go, this is the Lionesses' chance. They have to get the ball up the field quickly. There's only 10 seconds to go. It might be a late pass to the centre forward from goals here. There's 4 seconds to go, the ball's on halfway. This is going to be a big ask of Whitelaw. She shoots anyway. Troughton manages to get 2 fingertips to it. It goes over the top of the cage, and with 1.2 seconds left to go, it's a Lionesses' corner. They can shoot from this. They can also flood the 2-metre line, and a big lobby pass looking for a penalty. That's what they do. The pass is too far. And at the end of 4th quarter, it's 15 apiece. We weren't totally sure what the rules were for Super League, if we were going to golden goal, extra minutes or a penalty shootout. And I'll level with our loyal listeners at home. I'm not exactly sure what the rules are here either. But a fair bit of exuberance from both teams. Sydney University to get that 1 goal back, and the Killer Whales are smiling. Lots of smiles on the bench. They've fought down a 4-goal deficit twice today. And it's been very exciting sitting on the sideline. We've got a minute 40 to go in this extra period break, and we'll come back to you as soon as we know what's happening to see this game to completion. Okay, water polo fans, welcome back. We've finished the fourth quarter of this women's gold medal match for Water Polo New South Wales Metropolitan third grade with a 15-all draw. Sydney University Lionesses versus UNSW Killer Whales. So we have our second penalty shootout of the day. The first one being the fifth place Super League final for men's. Singapore versus University of Queensland. And spectators are going to be on the edge of their seats for what is no doubt going to be another exciting shootout here. Goalies just being sent to the opposite ends. And what an opportunity for these young players to be playing in a final and to be called up for the penalty shots. It's a nerve-wracking experience, regardless of your level that you've played before. It's number 9 for Sydney University, 6 up. That's Georgia Warren. She scored a lot today, and she's been reliable taking that first shot. Sydney University 1 goal up. This will be Georgina Simmons. I think I've been saying Georgia all game, so apologies to the Simmons family, but Georgina Simmons, she's scored a lot of penalties today already. She sits up big long levers, and that's her first miss. Lily Winter absolutely stepping up to the challenge. Simmons has scored 4 or 5 penalty shots today already, and Winter managing to keep her out of the cage when it counts. The University are up by 1. And we've got number 8, Charlotte Ferguson, about to take her shot. And she finds the crossbar. So that's a save for Troughton. And it's 1 miss each as Amelie Zuzatito comes in. She's been instrumental for the West game today. Scored 5 or 6 goals herself. We'll see if she can live up to the pressure, and she does. Quick shot off the hand, bounce. Almost bar down, straight over the top of Winter. So, lovely shot there. We've seen her score 4 or 5 bounce shots already. So we're back to evens. As left-hander steps up, number 12, Jade Vish. Referee's just swapping ends to accommodate for the left-hander. Whistle blown. Nice shot by Vish, choosing to throw it high corner, not relying on the bounce. A lot of young players tend to rely on the bounce when taking penalties. It's a little bit more reassuring. Less chance of hitting that crossbar, but Vish doesn't need it and puts it in the back of the net. Sydney University 17, Killer Whales 16. This is Hayley Ludgate, steps up, number 9, sneaks it past Winter. Winter chose the right side there, but wasn't able to get hand on ball. And we're back neck and neck, 17 apiece. Number 14 for Sydney University, Sophia Carroll. She's a right-hander, so now the referees need to get back in position. Whistle goes, Carroll sits up, and that's the cage as well. She's frustrated. Looks up to the heavens, and that's another save for Troughton. So this will give West the opportunity to take the lead as Harakitis, the left-hander, comes into play. She's had a really nice game as well. Good quick shot off the hand you'd anticipate here. And unlucky for Winter. Winter did manage to get an arm to it, but it was a top edge. And Harakitis puts it in. So the Killer Whales out in front. It's been a roller coaster of a game. Number 6, Amy Whitelaw for Sydney University. Troughton zoned in cage. Oof, that is a statement. Absolute statement by Whitelaw. Bar down, absolute laser beam, and a great goal. That'll give her team a fair bit of confidence. Coco Welsh now, UNSW West number 2. Been quite a handful in the game, especially at centre forward, centre back. And she chooses to take a quick shot. Caught everyone off guard there. And UNSW Killer Whales wins 19-18. So an absolute barnstorming finish from the Killer Whales. And an amazing piece of composure from the young ladies. Daniel Trent very happy with his team. Mentioned a few times they were down by 4 goals twice during the game and managed to keep their heads up, keep their focus and fight back into what was a really exciting finish and great piece of sportsmanship from both teams. Handshakes and hugs across the board. So the Lionesses will be disappointed, but it's an amazing opportunity. They're a young team, both of these teams quite young, and to be playing in the gold medal match for open third grade means that they're going to learn a lot and be quite formidable as they get older. If you're joining us from home, thanks so much for your viewership, for your patience with some of the name calling, and for putting up with my Kermit the Frog voice. I've been Nick Watkins. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, let Water Polo New South Wales know. If you haven't, let them know anyway. I'm always keen for feedback. If you're not over water polo yet, we have Ben's third grade final coming up. Sydney University versus Balmain. There's a number of Olympians on both teams playing. It'll be a high quality match. And failing that, there are Super League semi-finals and second grade super finals also on YouTube. But for now, thanks for joining us. We'll chat next time.